Hello children, good morning. Today we will discuss about electroplating of nickel over an article made up of inferior metal. To perform the electroplating of nickel on inferior metal, we have to set an apparatus as I have represented here on the screen. You have to take an insulating vessel. Into the vessel a nickel sulfate solution we have to kept. And then anode will be used as a thick block of nickel because you want to electroplate nickel on the inferior article. In the condition of electroplating, I told you all, the metal which you want to electroplate on any article, that should be used as an anode, and the article on which you want to electroplate, that should be used as a cathode. Same thing I have done here in this representation. I used iron spoon as a cathode and anode as a nickel, thick block of nickel, because nickel we want to electroplate on this iron spoon, right? And the electrodes are associated with battery. And as per the condition of electroplating, we all know the metal which you want to electroplate, the electrolytic solution should be of the same metal. Okay, so a representation, or you can say setup, what you have to use to perform the electroplating of nickel on iron spoon, you have to represent like this, right? So now come at the different part of electrolysis. So the first point we can discuss about electrolyte here. So electrolyte is of aqueous solution of copper sulfate. Electrolyte we are using here, electrolyte is of aqueous solution of copper sulfate. Electrolyte, aqueous nickel sulfate we are using, aqueous nickel sulfate, right? Electrode, we can see electrode is of two types, we all know. Anode, here we are using a thick block of nickel, because nickel we want to electroplate, and cathode article whatever we are using here, on which nickel we want to electroplate. So you can say cathode, iron spoon we are using here, iron spoon article to be electroplated, right? Now come at electrolytic process. Okay, come at electrolytic process. So as you will switch on the electric current into the above setup as I have represented you all, nickel sulfate already dissociated into the ions Ni+. If you talk about dissociation, so nickel sulfate will dissociate into Ni2+ and sulfate 2-, because solution is aqueous, so water will also be present here, and water will dissociate into H+ and OH-. So as you will switch on the electric current, nickel plus and H+, since they both are positively charged, will migrate toward cathode. Since nickel is having bottom position as compared to H+, so nickel will discharge at cathode. So let's see reaction at cathode. Okay, if we talk about reaction at cathode, nickel and H+ will migrate toward cathode, but nickel will discharge preferentially over H+, because position of nickel into the electrochemical series is at the bottom as compared to H+. So form by gaining 2 electron at a cathode, nickel 2+ will gain 2 electron to form Ni neutral atom. You can say it is product at cathode. Okay, uniform at cathode. A uniform layer of this nickel will deposit over the spoon of iron, right? Now come at reaction at anode. If we talk about reaction at anode, okay, so at anode OH- and SO4 2- ion will migrate, but none of these ions will undergo discharge, because we have used here an active electrode of nickel. Anode is an active electrode. Itself it will jump into the electrolytic reaction. Okay, so nickel is having greater ability to lose electron as compared to OH minus and SO4 2 minus. That's why nickel will lose electron here to form Ni2 plus. So neither OH minus nor sulfate radical will discharge. Nickel is having greater ability to lose electron as compared to OH minus and SO4 2 minus. That's why it will undergo oxidation to form Ni2 plus and 2 electron will release here. Right. So now this Ni2 plus whatever is formed at anode, that will come into the electrolytic solution to compensate the loss of nickel plus ion due to their migration from solution to the cathode. Right now, so long as the current is continued to be passed, the nickel oil from the solution deposit as a neutral nickel atoms on the article in the form of uniform layer, and the block of nickel dissolve continuously and thus loses its mass. So continuously this thick block of nickel will lose its mass. Continuously the mass of this nickel block will be loosed, right now, and uniformly the layer of nickel will be deposited at this spoon of iron. So in this way electroplating of nickel takes place on inferior metal, you can say iron. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.